Hey everyone, it's Austin Bach here bringing you my first Magic Origins draft. The spoiler just came out today, and it's now available to be drafting on different sites who have cobbled together the cards and made it possible to draft the format ahead of release, so we're going to give it a shot today. So this is the first time I've seen some of these cards, so you'll forgive me if I spend some time reading during this video. I'm currently searching for the rare, and I don't see it. Oh, it's this Managorger Dragon, or Hydra. It seems okay. 45 seconds, just making sure. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a +1 counter on it. See, so it seems really good if you can cast it on turn 3, but it's like a really bad top deck, so I don't think I'm in love with it. I think I'm going to take this Consul's Lieutenant, which seems really good to me. Renown is a very interesting keyword that rewards you for having different ways to get your creatures through, and First Strike is a really good way of doing that. And once you get this guy Renowned, not only is he a 3/2 First Strike, but he makes all your other guys bigger too, so all around seems like a great card to me. So now we've got Knightly Valor, which is really good. This card was in Return to Ravnica, I believe, and it was very strong there. And there weren't even any particular synergies with it or anything, it was just give you a lot of power and toughness for a good rate. So I could take that there. It's in the same color as my first pick. Beyond that, there's also a Ghirapur Gearcrafter, which seems really good. Basically just Sandcrafter Mage, but in red, and the token's an artifact, which has some upside in this format, I believe. Lightning Javelin also seems quite good. Just dealing 3 to something. You know, sometimes you just need that effect. I think I'm going to take the Knightly Valor here. I know it's strong, and it's in my color, so it seems like the safest pick to me. Now what do we have? Patron of the Valiant. 4/4 flying, already on board. Put +1/+1 counter on blah blah blah. Yep, so that seems like a card I would want. I believe that Red-White Renown is an archetype that we can do, so this gets better with the more renowned creatures we have. There's also a Topin Freeblade, which seems quite good to me as well. But ultimately it's just a 2/2 for 2. So while it is good and it's a great rate, there is an upside to how good it can be. I think I'm going to take this Patron of the Valiant. Like, it will be nice if we can cobble some synergy together around it, but ultimately it's just a Sarah Angel essentially, so it seems quite good to me. Okay, so Ringwarden Owl seems reasonable. Basically a 4/4 flying on offense. Crow and Jailer. You can really see how they've been scaling down the power level of commons in draft formats. When before we had Gideon's Lockkeeper, which was the exact same card, but it only cost 1 to tap something. This is just significantly worse. I like Blessed Spirits quite a lot. Like, even if you ignore the enchantment thing, it's just a 2/2 flyer for 2, which is sort of rare for this mana cost, 2 and a white. So I'm leaning towards just taking that here. Reeve Soul seems reasonable. Scrapskin Drake is alright. Basically the same card, but it doesn't block. Yeah, I'm just going to take this this Blessed Spirits here. Now we have Mighty Leap, which this is a kind of card that seems quite good if you're trying to get your creatures through, which we are looking to do with creatures with Renown, so that might be something we want. Suppression Bond seems very good. It's just Arrest, but it costs one more mana, and they can enchant anything. So if someone has a random Planeswalker or something, that could be a thing. So I'm probably just going to take that here. It seems like the most non-committal card. It also happens to be an enchantment, so it goes well with Blessed Spirits. I also realize that we have the Knightly Valor, so that's even another synergy that I didn't consider. So yeah. Aromancer. We already have 2 enchantments already, but they're not enchantments that we're looking to put in the graveyard necessarily. So maybe if I pick up a couple more and I see an Aromancer later in the draft, I can consider taking it. We can take an Akuron Jailer again, but I'm not thrilled about it. I'm leaning towards just taking this Cleric of the Forward Order. This is a card that if you start taking them early, you can sort of be the only one. You can like corner the market on them. And then if you have like 3 or 4 of them, it starts to get really good. So I'll go ahead and do that. Oh, and another Blessed Spirits. Don't mind if I do. And I'm sort of trying to look at the other cards as well. Even though we have just been taking basically the best card in every pack, and it's happened to be white. I'm trying to get a grasp on what the other colors are once we decide which of our second colors we want to be. But I have seen no reason to jump out of white yet, so I'm just going to keep taking white cards. Revenant, Power and Toughness, creatures. Okay, that seems alright. I could take an Armancer here. Night Snare. It's not amazing. Fine Snare. Seems okay, but not great. Basically just a fog with a little bit of upside if you have some big creatures. Not exactly where I want to be, so I'll just take the Armancer. Grasp of the Hieromancer I think is very good. +1/+1, and you get to tap something every turn. So not only is it an enchantment, which works well with a lot of the cards we've taken already, but it can help get our renown guys through, which is something that I've been saying is pretty important. It's worth noting, by the way, the Blessed Spirits is essentially very similar to Wingsteed Rider and Theros Block, which is why I know that this effect is very good. Even though Heroic is not a thing in this format, there's still a small sub-theme with enchantments, so... Enlightened Ascetic doesn't seem like where we want to be. I think I'm just going to take a Water Courser, which is an okay card, and you never know, if we end up in blue we could take it. Rabid Bloodsucker I think is actually reasonable, so if we end up black we could want that. And Infernal Scarring, same thing, I actually think is not a bad card. It goes well with our Blessed Spirits, so maybe we want to be some sort of black-white enchantment deck. Oh, and Mighty Leap came back, don't mind if I do. And we got a last pick of Crow and Jailer, so happy we didn't take those early. We're already full steam ahead into the next pack, so... Our rare is Guiltleaf Winnower, so you could destroy something if its power and toughness aren't equal, which seems pretty reasonable. We are considering black, so we could take it here. We already have a decent number of 5-drops already, though. We have Patron of the Valiant, Knightly Valor, which we are guaranteed to play. And if we end up wanting to do black, we'd have the Rabid Bloodsucker, along with the Winnower. So let's see if we have any other good options. Battle Priest seems not amazing, and it has the same expensive problem. Touch of Moonglove I don't think is that great. Another Infernal Scarring, if, like I said, I wanted to do the black-white enchantment thing. But I think I'm just going to take the Winnower. It seems pretty solid to me. Just probably the best card in that pack anyway, so... So here there's a lot of good white cards. I see a Cleric of the Forward Order, a Charging Griffin. There's also a Languish. Not only is it very good against me, I think it's just very good in general. We could set up a situation where it's even like a one-sided Wrath, if we can get one of our guys bigger than 4, like with a Mighty Leap or a Knightly Valor or something like that. So I probably just want to take Languish here. Board wipes are generally very strong in Limited, if you know how to use it correctly. But I do really like these white cards, and I would like them in my deck. I think Languish is just too good to pass when we're in black, or at least considering it. Eyeblight Massacre is another Wrath. Don't think we have any elves besides this Guiltleaf Winnower, but it's going to be awkward if we take it and then run into the elf deck, so might not want to do that. There's also a Cleric of the Forward Order, which I'm leaning towards right now, just because, like I said, I'd like to get multiple copies of it. I also like Shambling Ghoul. I think it's probably better than the Cleric in an aggressive slanted deck, and Reeve Soul is also pretty solid as well. But I think I'm going to take the Cleric of the Forward Order, and I'm going to see if there's any merit to taking a bunch of copies of these. Ooh, here's a Sigil of the Empty Throne. Let's see how many enchantments we have right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4. But we have a pack and a half to go. Yeah, I kind of just want to take the sigil of the Empty Throne. It might be a little too risky though. There's also a Charging Griffin, which is also very strong. Knight of the Pilgrim's Road is a reasonable, renowned guy. I think I'm actually going to take the Charging Griffin, as much as I'm tempted by the sigil. We already have a lot of good 5-drops, and we don't know if it's even going to be that good in our deck, whereas Charging Griffin is guaranteed to be good, so... there's a Weight of the Underworld, which goes well with all of our enchantment sub-theme things, like Aromancer, Blessed Spirits. I guess that's it right now. And if we see something like Blightcaster, it can be very strong as well, which is a card that this archetype, I assume, wants. Look at Charging Griffin, which is also good, but yeah, I'm going to try Weight of the Underworld here. Thornbow Archer doesn't seem good. Revenant I'm not crazy about. Yeah, nothing I really want. I guess I'll take the Battle Priest and probably not play it, but there's always the chance. Fetid Imp is a pseudo hexproof guy, or not hexproof, sorry, Death Touch. When this enters the battlefield, search your library for an aura, reveal it, put it into your hand. That seems pretty good. We have a decent number of auras already, and that seems like a reasonable way to get that going, so I'll take that. Here, Dark Dabbling seems reasonable, but we're already pretty good in the trick department. I guess I'll take it anyway. Not exciting. It was another Infernal Scarring. Pretty happy with that now that we're in this archetype. Do I want a third copy? I'm leaning towards yes. We have the double Blessed Spirits it goes well with. Maybe we just want a Charging Griffin instead. What are our expensive cards looking like right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not playing that. Or that. 5, 6, 7 cards with 5 or more mana. It's kind of a lot. Let's see, Bounding Krasis seems very good, so I'm going to cut that from someone. Probably not playing the Jailer still. Let's get a creature count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we're not sure about some of these 5-drops, so like 10 to 12 range. So we need to get like 4 or 5 more in the next pack. That seems pretty easy to do. So here the pack looks to be winding down. So I think I'm just going to pause here and come back for pack number 3.